met a gypsy.
We're gonna see, man. I think the HEP team, Larry, like, you know, the kickstart. Like, I mean, what we need to be doing is going and buying a Suzuki. And
Dude, I might just do that.
But I think you can change everything with perception. This could be an industry changing moment, because think about, like, we're big bike dorks. We like fancy shit. We like nice shit. We ride KTM, like KTM route bikes, the premium. Well, that's the premium cost, 14 grand in Oz or whatever they are now. RMZ's what, 75, 8 grand. Well, we can, and I can tell you right now, if we were to ride that Suzuki, me and you, versus a KTM 450 2023, we would probably not even be 1 to 2 seconds off the lap time. Right? So, but like the keeping up with the Joneses attitude.
Well, I think the thing that for me, like, so I rode a Suzuki last year, maybe the year before. I rode a 250 that Charlie Costanzo like did. It was fucking unreal, dude. Like, I absolutely loved riding that bike. I haven't rode a 450 in forever.
Good, and they're good too.
But the thing is that for me, like, I'm just not going to invest in a company
that's right.
You know, so I don't think it was ever that their bikes were bad.
You just didn't want to invest in a company that wasn't going to move forward.
Nah. You know, like, what's the point of that?
What if the company were to tell you, like, we're just good with this platform, we didn't want to compete, like, we don't want to compete, we just want to, you know, in bicycle you have XX1 and you have NX. You're like, I'm just good with NX because that's the price I can afford, and if I need it I can upgrade. Yeah,
but you don't get that messaging.
No.
You know what I mean?
I'm defending you. Yeah.
So, and I've said it here before. Suzuki should just come out and say, like, we want to be that entry level motorcycle. Like, if you can't afford to race motocross in this changing global climate, then, like, wear your brand. But literally, to me, it's always looked like this is just these bikes that are going to die on this dealership floor. At no point, I don't think, is Suzuki being like a bad motorcycle. The fact that they don't have an electric start as well. I think that's just like, you fix that, you just fix like a whole host of issues. Like, everyone's like, what the fuck, I haven't kicked a bike.
It's interesting, the electric start. I went to the starting line in 2010 and people were laughing at me on my KTM 450.
Yeah, dude. Right, the first year that they didn't
electric start, you got, dude, that thing battery fails, you're dead in the water. Sleeter, I can't believe you're riding that thing. And I'm like, I don't know, man. It's my job. It's the job. Like, this bike's pretty cool. Like it's never failed. And then now you look at, you know, a decade later and more plus, and everyone's like, oh, you have a Kickstarter, you're lame. So it ever flows, right? It's just.
I remember when KTM took the Kickstarter physically off the bike. Everyone was up in arms that was like the unforgivable sin in motocross. Like, you could never do that. But even like my brother's EXC, like EXCs and shit, they don't have
125s and 252 strokes have electric start. SXs next year.
Yeah.
Or this year.
That's pretty crazy feeling.
Right? We were like, gang on the 125. Which, it's but yeah, Kenny's got he's got some scrutiny. I think all the stars, all the lights on him again. Yeah. And I think he likes the light on him. But going back, not to dive into making a Kenny podcast, but what I have to say that I'm most impressed with Kenny was adaptation, right? Getting comfortable, being uncomfortable. And it's not really with the bike, it's the surroundings of people. A guy like that is used to, well, look at Chad and look at James. They have
they're so insular. Yeah.
They're people around them. This is just, most people are like that are very intelligent and smart, and they only trust their circle, right? So Chad will take, you know, his mechanic where he goes, his tuner where he goes, his switch guy where he goes. James, same way. Kenny left Factory Honda where he has a team. He's only been on teams of people always around him. Shows up at Straight Rhythm, dude, with Mitch and Bones on a bike. He rode one time at GH for like 30 minutes and trusted in the people around him. That's insane. Like, I mean, I know as I'm saying, how would you not trust Mitch and Bones? But it's not, people don't understand, like,
that's not his crew, regular.
It's not his regular crew. Yeah. And then went from that race, killed it, and he got beat by Marv 11th hour, but like, insane. Like, he made the highlight reels for the way he was riding. Yeah. You're like, whoa, he's back. Yeah. Then he goes to Konski's team, completely different group of people, gives them trust, and goes and wins races. Test the Club MX bike. So for him to be able to adapt and and give that trust, call it naive, call it what you want, but that's gonna, if he didn't have that way of thinking, he wouldn't be able to do this on the Suzuki. He's able to be vulnerable and be like, yep, new thing, I'm all in, let's go.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I spoke to him the other day. And we are just talking about like the move and why he sort of did it, and I think even bigger picture too, the off season, and it was cool to hear him. He basically just said like, man, I wasn't trying to make a buzz the off season. I wasn't trying to. He said I wasn't trying to do none of this. Like I didn't understand that the internet would react so crazy. I didn't think the memes. He's like, honestly, I just was like, fuck it. I've got nothing else to do. Like I don't have a job technically, so I'm just gonna do what I want to do. Yep. And the whole like free agency, he almost created like this new little lane in the sport where guys, like I think Kenny showed his value, right? So if you before this season, right, let's say Kenny just leaves fucking whatever the last round is, Salt Lake, I can't remember. Yeah. But leaves there and is already signed with Suzuki. You would have deemed his stock value going down, like his stock price going down, right? But you have this period of free agency where he goes all over the world, rides these different bikes. He's pretty much the only person that the internet and the media has talked about. Every viral clip, he's dominated the entire marketplace when it comes to like this whole rider market in this off season. Yeah, goes to Suzuki and his stock is way the fuck up. So it's like he almost makes this case of being that guy, and it's like, you know, Cooper is probably going to be there soon. You know, like you hear that Chase has already signed his deal with KTM, so you'll like miss out on that. But does this start almost like this new era where guys aren't taking us with their journey? Yeah, they're just like, all right, I'm not signing until X date, and I've got a couple months where I can ride whatever bike I can be. And like Kenny was like, man, I just got to like have fun riding. Like I didn't have to go and get to the practice track. I didn't have to I could just go and ride a bike. I think you could see, like, I think the meat and potatoes won't be able to because they'll be always hungry for the ride, but like, you know, you see Anderson when his contract's up at Cali, I think he's going straight to Triumph, baby. Yeah, maybe he takes us on a 2-week journey of riding other shit to confuse us, but we know he's going back to Bobby Hewitt. Yeah. Right? But yeah, that's a good move. Like, you know, Chad did it with the Honda and the gear switch. He was all the free agent stuff. I love it. I think you just have to be comfortable putting yourself out there and like handling the keyboard warriors. But the thing was, Kenny didn't look like shit on any bike. Nah. Like he didn't. So it's like he kept us all on our toes. Like, he looks sick on the Yamaha. He's back on a Firepower. He's back on this. I mean, now he's riding a Stark. Yeah, the Stark thing, right? So I just think it's showing. I mean, to Red Bull and Fox, that's more valuable than any motorcycle brand. Yeah. Right, because the person's out there. So, man, I look forward to it. One thing he could say is I remember that my mentor and engineer at KTM told me, I was like, man, everyone's hating on me riding PDS. They don't realize how good these bikes are. Like, they don't realize that my bike's sick. He's like, yeah, because they've not had the bike that you've had. I'm like, he's like, you know what your bike does good, what doesn't do good. I'm like, yeah. He's like, I just want to like give it back to him. You know, he's like, you just tell the guys, like Kenny could say this, man, I can't believe you're riding a Suzuki. Da, da, da. He's like, well, I'm just that much better than you. I can take a piece of shit and beat you. Like Kenny can say that now. Like, if he beats a Red Bull KTM with millions of dollars in technology and all this stuff, he'd be like, I'm just that much better of a rider than you that I beat you on a Suzuki. Like, yeah. What could they say? Like, what could they say? Like, I just think it's really a turning point in like development and brand and like there's so much technology out there and mapping and tech with Twisted and these guys that, like, even your bike that we talked about when we started this with the test is like, you can build really good motorcycles now yourself. Like, you don't need to have just Dave Arnold and just, you know, Kaipo. You don't need Roger DaCosta. You don't need any of that shit. You need people around you that you trust. And yeah, it's pretty cool. If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.